All right, Cardona Moan's House of Math coming to you live from the blanket for the math. Just had a little mess up, and he forgot to turn on the video. Yeah, he didn't record. He didn't start recording. All right, so here's what we did. It's quick. First, tens, nines. Build them. Right? Two hands. One and nine and eight and two and three and seven and three and so on. Right? These are supposed to be the various blocks. Okay. And then we built nines. And then we talked about that a little bit. And then we closed our eyes and we talked about all the combinations. And then he realized that once you do the first five, this next they're just basically the same thing. Okay, so that was that. And then we talked a little bit about this special triangle. And we talked a little bit about this special triangle. And you'll see we'll talk more about that special triangle in the hour. This will be a video that comes before the other video. And then the video that you'll see, this is the precursor because I forgot to turn on the first half hour. But this would be super fast and easy. And then we took this and we talked about if you got $20 and you owe people. And so we started off with 20 and then, make up a name. He owed his mom 9, he owed his sister, and then wind up and getting to the point where actually I think we just owed 5. Anyway, whatever number, or 3, do you have enough money to pay him? Yeah. How much do you have left? 15. Okay, now you owe somebody 9. Do you have enough money to pay them? Yes. How much do you have left? 6. Ooh, you owe somebody 5. Do you have enough money to pay them? Yes, because you had 6, and when you take away 5, you still have $1. Uh-oh, now you owe somebody $7, and you owe somebody 7, but you only have 1. How much do you have left? Oh, wait, you don't have any left. You owe. Then we talked about this thing right there, because you got to talk about the owe me sign and understand the difference between that's a have and that's an owe. But it's the same block, so we got to put that sign on there so we know the difference between a have me and an owe me. Okay, and then we went up to his grandma's ranch because she got some property up there in Montana because they're Montana people, and she had some land and oops, wrong color pen. And on the land, we got horses, and horses need fences, and fences, we got to dig a hole 3 feet deep. So if I dig a hole 3 feet deep and I put a 7-foot fence post in there, how much is sticking out of the ground? And he could tell me. And then what if I put a 10-foot fence post in there? How much is sticking out of the ground? And he could easily tell me. Do you see any symbols? I don't see any symbols. And then we dug a 6-foot hole. Oh, wait, we dug a 7-foot hole. And then I said, I'm only 6 feet tall. If I stood in the hole, how much above my head? And he could easily see 1. And he's about 4 feet tall. If he was standing in the hole, how much would be above his head? He'd still be under the hole. Okay, and then you start thinking around with I've got -6, or excuse me, -7 plus 6 is still, you owe 1. Right? Then you start showing symbols. But first, just play blocks. And then we started factoring. And we factored with the first one, degree of difficulty, x squared 10x and 25. This is our 7th lesson, so by now this is easy. And he knew you put 5 over here, and you put 5 over here, and that's supposed to be 5. That's supposed to be 5. And then over here is going to be 25, and of course over here is going to be your x squared. That's not hard, so it's going to be x plus 5, and then he thought it would be x plus 5, 2. And I said, that's correct, but we say x plus 5 squared. Okay, so he's getting that concept down. Exponents. Easy. And then, of course, we added 2x squareds, and then we had 3x squareds, and then we never had enough time to even play what's under the cup. But then we started playing like 3x squared, and then we were doing ones that could be factored in more than one way, like x squared, 12x, and 9 can be factored x plus, wait a minute, 3x is the way he built it, plus 9 and x plus 1, that works. But what I was hoping for was 3x plus 3 and x plus 3. And I think I got that on video. But anyway, we built some, we played around, we worked our way up. We did a couple with 2x squareds, and then we decided we're going to add another x squared. And then we talked about prime and composite numbers a little bit, because you can only build 2 like this or like this, and you can only build 3 like this and like this. But then you get to 4, and you can build it a different way. How can you build 4 a different way? We figured that out. And then we did that, and then we got 5, and we figured out that 5 goes like this, and that's it. And then we got 6, and you can figure out that, oh, we could use 3s or 2s, and it's either 2 3s or 3 2s, and it's not square, it's a rectangle. Okay, because the 2 2s, when I got the 4, that turns into a square. And then 7. Oh, 7 goes this way or that one. Then we started talking about prime and composite. 8. Oh, can you build 8? Yep, we could do 2 4s or 4 2s. Now, the lesson on 2 should be obvious. 2 4 6 8. All right, and then we got all the way to 9, and we saw that 9 can be a composite number also. Is there another way to build 9? And yep, he knew that you could build 9 like this. And that makes 9 a square. And then, of course, we automatically talked about this symbol. And then I asked him what the square root of 9 was. And then we went to the next one. We did 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we got all the way to 16. And then I did a lesson on gallons and quarts and pints and cups. Gallon, quart, pint, cup. And then they actually got out a measuring cup that was 8 ounces. And we can see that a gallon is how many cups? 16 of them. How many pints? 8 of them. See, doing math. How many quarts? 4 of them. All right. All in one lesson. No workbook. All right, Crouton Ramon's houseofmath.com for more.